We are moving on today from Jeremiah and essentially onto Jerusalem's obituary. Lamentations, especially what we're reading today, it's like reading Jerusalem's obituary. It is heavy, very very painful, and it is very clear about the cost of sin. And so let's jump right in. Lamentations 1. Um, and this is, again, written by Jeremiah. So let's jump in. How she sits alone, the city, once crowded with people. She who was great among the nations has become like a widow. The princes among the provinces has been put to forced labor. She weeps bitterly during the night with tears on her cheeks. There is no one to offer her comfort, not one from her. All her lovers, all her friends have betrayed her. They have become her enemies. Judah has gone into exile following affliction and harsh slavery. She lives among the nations but finds no place to rest. All her pursuers have overtaken her in narrow places. The roads to Zion mourn, for no one comes to the appointed festivals. All her gates are deserted, her priests groan, her young women grieve, and she herself is bitter. Her adversaries have become her masters, her enemies are at ease, for the Lord has made her suffer because of her many transgressions. Her children have gone away as captives before the adversary. All the splendor has vanished from daughter Zion. Her leaders are like stags that find no pasture. They stumble away exhausted before the hunter. During the days of her affliction and homelessness, Jerusalem remembers all her precious belongings that were hers in days of old. When her people fell into the adversary's hand, she had no one to help. The adversaries looked at her, laughing over her downfall. Jerusalem has sinned grievously. Therefore, she has become an object of scorn. All who honored her now despise her, for they have seen her nakedness. She herself groans and turns away. Her uncleanness stains her skirts. She had never considered her end. Her downfall was astonishing. There was no one to comfort her. Lord, look on my affliction, for the enemy boasts. The adversary has seized all her precious belongings. She has even seen the nations enter her sanctuary, those who had forbidden to enter your assembly. All her people groan while they search for bread. They have traded their precious belongings for food in order to stay alive. Lord, look and see how I have become despised. Is this nothing to you? All who pass by, look and see. Is there any pain like mine which was dealt out to me, which the Lord made me suffer on the day of his burning anger? He sent fire from on high into my bones. He made it descend. He spread a net for my feet. He turned me back. He made me desolate, sick all day long. My transgressions have been formed into a yoke, fastened together by his hand. They have been placed on my neck, and the Lord has broken my strength. He has handed me over to those I cannot withstand. The Lord has rejected all the mighty men within me. He has summoned an army against me to crush my young warriors. The Lord has trampled virgin daughter Judah like grapes in a winepress. I weep because of these things. My eyes flow with tears, for there is no one nearby to comfort me, no one to keep me alive. My children are desolate because the enemy has prevailed. Zion stretches out her hands. There is no one to comfort her. The Lord has issued a decree against Jacob that his neighbors should be his adversaries. Jerusalem has become something impure among them. The Lord is just, for I have rebelled against his command. Listen, all you people, look at my pain. My young women and young men have gone into captivity. I called to my lovers, but they betrayed me. My priests and elders perished in the city while searching for food to keep themselves alive. Lord, see how I am in distress. I am churning within. My heart is broken. for I have been very rebellious. Outside, the sword takes the children. Inside, there is death. People have heard me groaning, but there is no one to comfort me. All my enemies have heard of my misfortune. They are glad that you have caused it. Bring on the day you have announced, so that they may become like me. Let all their wickedness come before you and deal with them, as you have dealt with me, because of all my transgressions, for my groans are many, and I am sick at heart. Excuse me. So, I mean, you can tell, like, this is think about Jeremiah writing this in the midst of everything going on. Uh, Jerusalem is done. He's watching these people be marched away, and um, it's over. Okay. Uh, Chapter 2. After I drink coffee. How the Lord has overshadowed daughter Zion with his anger. He has thrown down Israel's glory from heaven to earth. He did not acknowledge his footstool in the day of his anger. Without compassion, the Lord has swallowed up all the dwellings of Jacob. In his wrath, he has demolished the fortified cities of daughter Zion, of daughter Judah. He brought them to the ground and defiled the kingdom and its leaders. He has cut off every horn of Israel in his burning anger and withdrawn his right hand in the presence of the enemy. He has blazed against Jacob like a flaming fire that consumes everything. He has strung his bow like an enemy. His right hand is positioned like an adversary. He has killed everyone who was the delight to the eye, pouring out the wrath like fire on the tent of daughter Zion. The Lord is like an enemy. He has swallowed up Israel. He swallowed up all its palaces and destroyed its fortified cities. He has multiplied mourning and lamentation within daughter Judah. He was wrecked. He has wrecked his temple as if it were merely a shack in a field, destroying his place of meeting. The Lord has abolished appointed festivals and Sabbaths in Zion. He has despised king and priest in his fierce anger. The Lord has rejected his altar, repudiated his sanctuary. He has handed the walls of her palaces over to the enemy. They have raised a shout in the house of the Lord as on the day of an appointed festival. The Lord determined to destroy the wall of daughter Zion. He stretched out a measuring line and did not restrain himself from destroying. He made the ramparts and walls grieve together, they waste away. Zion's gates have fallen to the ground. He has destroyed and shattered the bars on her gates. Her king and her leaders live among the nations. Instruction is no more, and even her prophets receive no vision from the Lord. The elders of daughter Zion sit on the ground in silence. They have thrown dust on their heads and put sackcloth. The young women of Jerusalem have bowed their heads to the ground. My eyes are worn out from weeping. I am churning within. My heart is poured out in grief because of the destruction of my dear people, because infants and nursing babies faint in the streets of the city. They cry out to their mothers, where is the grain and wine, as they faint like the wounded in the streets of the city, as their life pours out in the arms of their mothers. What can I say on your behalf? What can I compare to you, daughter Jerusalem? What can I liken you to, so that I may console you, virgin daughter Zion? For your ruin is as vast as the sea. Who can heal you? Your prophets saw visions for you that were empty and deceptive. They did not reveal your iniquity and so restore your fortunes. They saw pronouncements for you that were empty and misleading. All who pass by scornfully clap their hands at you. They hiss and shake their heads at daughter Jerusalem. Is this the city that was called the perfection of beauty, the joy of the whole earth? All your enemies open their mouths against you. They hiss and gnash their teeth, saying, We have swallowed her up. This is the day we have waited for. We have lived to see it. The Lord has done what he planned. He has accomplished his decree, which he ordained in the days of old. He has demolished without compassion, letting the enemy gloat over you and exalting the horn of your adversaries. The hearts of the people cry out to the Lord, wall of daughter Zion. Let your tears run down like a river, day and night. Give yourself no relief, and your eyes no rest. Arise, cry out in the night, from the first watch of the night. Pour out your heart like water before the Lord's presence. Lift up your hands to him for the lives of your children who are fainting from hunger at the head of every street. Lord, look and consider to whom you have done this. Should women eat their own children, the infants they have nurtured? Should priests and prophets be killed in the Lord's sanctuary? Both young and old are lying on the ground in the streets. My young women and young men have fallen by the sword. You have killed them in the day of your anger, slaughtering without compassion. You summon those who terrorize me on every side, as if for an appointed festival. On the day of the Lord's anger, no one escaped or survived. My enemy has destroyed those I nurtured and reared. Okay. So, like I was saying, this is, I mean, it's not fun. Imagine, especially some of the stuff that's described as mothers are watching the life leave their children, people starving. It's not fun. But it is important. It is showing the consequences of sin. And these are the natural consequences of sin. Like I talked about, the analogy of the toaster, right? If I buy a toaster and then I plug it in, turn it on, and then go jump in the shower with it, it's my fault for not listening to what the instructions were, right? It's not the toaster maker's fault that what the shocking experience I got. They were not liable for that because I misused what was given to me. I did not follow the instructions for what I was given. So, let's jump into our questions. Question 1. Why do you think God preserved such raw and painful poetry in Scripture? I think it is, at least in part, to show how terrible, absolutely terrible, the real cost of sin is. Think about in the Old Testament times, they would have been a little maybe more aware because you would have seen the animal die if you had to do a sacrifice. The offerings that we saw in Leviticus, something like that, you would have actually had to see the animal die because of your sin. Now, obviously, that's still they kind of got away from that, but we don't have that visualization of it. I mean, we do, we just don't see it, right? We have Jesus on the cross, and he died for us, but we don't see that, right? And so I think things like this can be a good reminder that there is real, true pain that comes as a result of sin. I think it's at least one of the reasons for the really just raw, painful emotion here in Lamentations. Question 2. How does this book challenge us to take sin and its consequences more seriously in our own lives? I think it's showing that there are real consequences for sin. Now, you may not always have those consequences in this life, but there are real consequences for sin. And the debt that is incurred as a result of sin will be paid. If you're not a believer, if you're not a Christian, then you will have to own up to that debt. but you will never be able to pay it. If you are, and I'm trying to use my language here carefully because, excuse me, I know there are differing views on as far as eternal conscious torment or annihilationism, and both you can be a brother. Um, it's an in-house debate, but I think regardless, there is debt that is incurred as a result of sin that has to be paid for, and I think knowing that should help. I think so. For me, something that's helped that did help with habitual sins that I was dealing with. I've talked about before. I struggled a lot for a while with addiction to pornography, and one thing that really started to make that change for me mentally, to where like I'd say I noticed a change where it used to be the thought would pop into my head, and then I would go try to act out or seek out something to satisfy that. But I saw a change when the thought would pop in my head, and instead my mind would start going to what the cost was. Now, I'm a believer. I believe that Jesus already covered that, but there was still a cost associated with it. So, and I would picture Jesus on the cross because of my actions. Yeah, that's not always going to work. That's not always a good thing, because you don't want to get to the point of where you're living in condemnation, because there's no longer any condemnation in those who are under Christ or in Christ. But I do think it can help to um, maybe appreciation would be the right word. I think that's closer than condemnation. Condemnation. It wasn't a feeling bad because I had done this. It was more of a Jesus has already done this for me. Like I'm done. It's over. I'm not dealing with this anymore. I'm not going into this anymore. If that makes sense. Question 3: what role does lament play in a healthy relationship with God? I think we just kind of talked on it a little bit, but the idea that you're looking back, it can be an offshoot of gratitude. I think you can look back graciously on what God has done for you and what Jesus has um, done to set you free willingly, so that you can be in relationship with Him and the Father and the Holy Spirit. Um, so it can be an offshoot of gratitude there. I think it can also show. It can also be an offshoot of starting to have a better grasp of how truly holy God is, and how truly wicked and evil our sin is. Um, I don't know that we can ever fully comprehend that in this life, but I do think that when we start to really try to think about this and understand that, we will have a better understanding of it. And I think that we will start to lament our sin. There won't be talking about sin as in a past life, and talking, like making light of it and joking about it, and talking in ways that almost seem like you are reminiscing. That won't be the case. But there will be lamenting over what you've done. Not not condescending. Not condemnation over what you've done, but remorse over what you've done. And that can be a fine line. I will admit that can be a very, very fine line. So you want to make sure you're not getting caught up in condemning yourself, because that's already been taken care of. on the cross, but you also don't want to make light of things that Jesus went to the cross for. So, man, good stuff. We'll be back in Lamentations tomorrow for sure. I'm not sure. Lamentations 3 is really, really long. So I haven't decided yet if we're going to split that up between 2 days or 1 day. But we'll see. You'll find out tomorrow. Tune in next time to see. All right. Thanks for watching this video. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe, as all those things help the channel grow. If this has been a blessing to you, you can share it with somebody else. It can be a blessing to them, and word of mouth is the best way that podcasts grow as well. So that can be something that helps this channel as well. Come back every single day. We're going to have more content every single day. Bible reading plan. We're going through the Bible an entire year, different teachings, all kinds of just really great biblical sound stuff like that. So you're not going to want to miss it. Come back, subscribe. Thanks. God bless.